Hi, welcome back to my bathroom. Today I'm doing a blow dry tutorial. We're going to be using a basic blow dryer and two brushes, a flat brush and an option of a round brush blow dry. So the tools you're going to need for today are pretty simple. We're going to start with a wide tooth comb, my favorite, couple clips for if you have more hair, and I always like to use a tail comb. Not necessary, but it's my favorite one. So I part the hair down the middle. We're going to section off each side. So on the right side is going to be the flat brush blow dry, and the left is going to be the round brush. And you'll see the full difference between the two. Both are step by step, but with different results. So I'm going to start by sectioning the hair and wetting it first, obviously. I started with dry hair today just because it's easy to show you guys what I'm doing. I'm using Bumble and Bumble Prep to wet my hair, but regular water works just fine. So I'm combing it through. You can do this off dry hair too if you want to revamp your hair for a night out. So I'm sectioning the hair on top of my head using one of these clips. These I call alligator clips. They're really easy to find on Amazon and super cheap. So I'm starting underneath. Always start underneath. You'll have a mess on your head if you don't. And I'm using the flat brush. I always like to heat my brush up a little bit. Now the key here is tension. So you want to get the brush ready to go and you want to get under the hair. You're going to lift it up and feel it kind of lock in. The key to any blow dry is always start at the roots. Curly hair especially, but always start at the roots. That's your foundation. And if you don't have a strong foundation, it's like a house, it will collapse. So as I'm working through the roots, I'll come into the middle section of the hair. I run over each about 3 times, but that depends on the dampness and the thickness of your hair. So the reason I like this blow dry is because it's really fast and easy. I do this a lot when I'm running out of the gym and I kind of want decent hair, but I don't have a lot of time to style it. This is an ideal blowout for people with slightly wavy hair or straight hair. You can see it gives a nice sleek line around the face. I'm very happy about it. I also love to top this off with a dusting of the flat iron after for that real chic straight effect, but not always necessary. Taking about a 1-inch section here. It depends on how much hair you have as to how much hair you take. For very coarse curly hair, I recommend smaller sections. And also for that type of hair, I recommend the hair to be a little bit more damp. Not soaking wet or you'll be pulling the hair through the brush over and over again, but damp. As you can see, again, I'm locking the hair in and I'm pulling it down. I kind of want that straight effect. So I kind of pull it down and then I lift it back up again. If you really want to speed this blow dry up and you have straighter hair, you can really quickly air dry it with your hands and use your hands to pull the hair out in a downward motion. As you can see, with curly hair, you get a kink at the root. Always get that, because that's a dead giveaway that you didn't finish your blow dry and you did your own hair. So I'm really directing the heat right on that area. It's a harder area to straighten. Be careful of your ear too. And this is going to go down towards my face. Very happy about that. So next section, same side. And I'm going to venture towards the back. It's the same technique, it's just a little bit more of an awkward angle. But practice makes perfect, and you'll be able to get the hang of it. I also want you to direct the hair up. And directing it up is going to give you a little bit more volume and movement. I'd start towards the top of the head for that direction, and also you want to make sure that the heat of the blow dryer, the nozzle, is moving with the brush in the direction you want the hair to go. Not doing that will cause the hair to frizz as you'll be going against the grain of the hair, against the cuticle. Don't let the brush and the blow dryer, go at different times. Don't let the blow dryer linger on the brush too long, or it could burn the hair. Make sure they're moving together. Here we go again. I'm using my finger to splice the hair. There's no specific order when you get to the top. I'm just choosing to get into the back for you guys. So over directing the hair. Now this is called over directing. It's even pushing the hair more forward. You got to get in there to make sure that tension's at the brush, or there's no point in doing it. Some of you might be questioning, does volumizing product help this? Yes, it can. There are a lot of light, see that volume? I love that. There's a lot of lightweight. I prefer the natural plant-based sprays. Sprays are great, mousses are great, but if you really want your blow dry to last, I recommend doing it on natural hair. I use the mousses on set, but that's, for a different kind of effect. So now I'm blow drying it forward and also up. I kind of want that extra lift at the top, which will fall a little bit, so it won't be too poofy. Here we go down towards my face. I love that sleek line. I'm so happy about it. It's nice. So that's the effect. It's a flat, sleek look, and it's faster to do. I'm tucking it behind my ear now because that little tuck is going to give it a little bend after when I take it out. You can see how hot my ear got, so that's how hot the hair got. As it cools, it will relax. So this side's going to be the round brush. It got a little dry, so I'm redampening it. You don't always have to do that at home. It depends how wet your hair was to begin with. And again, don't let your hair be soaking wet or you'll never get it dry. So combing it through, I'm going to start the underneath section. Again, always, always, always start underneath and work your way up, especially if you have curly hair. And always start at the root. Those are the two major important foundations of a blow dry. If you get those down, you'll never have trouble. Everything else is easy. So here I go. I lock the hair around that brush. It's locked in. These brushes are great. See, it's locked in there. And I'm using the heat to go in the direction of the brush. And I'm going to do is I was told A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. So A is the root, B is the mid shaft, C is the end of the hair. And you're going to go over each section about 3 times. Sometimes you'll feel you need a little bit more. I like to kind of twist out and curl under the ends. Some clients, however, hate that. So it really depends on what you're going for. Now, this is a little more tedious of a blow dry because you really need finer sections and you also need a lot of tension. And you'll see me, I feel like I prove that it's a little more work in this. You've really got to prepare to get in there and manhandle it. Your arms might get tired, but the good news is you'll build strength in your arms and back. So it's locked in. I've got to get those roots straight. And keep in mind, I naturally have curly hair I'm dealing with here, so there's more of a fight, as you'll see. I like to alternate pushing the hair down and going from on top and then kind of hitting it again from above. It seems to just have more of an effect. And I'm pulling it out, as you can see, not fully down, so there'll be a little bit more volume. And I think I'm getting currently attacked by the brush and blow dryer. Now I want to tell you guys this brush that I use is made from a company called Brushopolis. Wonderful little indie brand. It's a great boar's bristle brush. These give you great effects of smoothing, especially with really curly hair. I always prefer higher quality. There's many different brands out there. If you have straighter hair, however, and want volume, a lot of people prefer the round brushes that are made, I believe, of aluminum. They're made of metal and they let air circulate in and they also get hot, so you can get a lot of volume. Some people just prefer those brushes in general. I'd say it depends on the hair texture. Also, you have to be careful if you've had a lot of highlights and are prone to breakage or chemical damage. Those brushes can be a little harsh. I'm pulling the hair down with this brush and it's smoothing it. And as you can see, this is a little bit more labor to this blow dry, but the results are great. You'll end up with bounce and body and movement, and it's a classic blowout. Now sometimes after you do these blowouts, you can even go in and tweak with the curling iron or the flat iron. And I'm going to be doing some tutorials on those as well after. So sectioning up the hair again. I've got one more section here. And again, you know, you're starting from the bottom, you're working your way up. Now I'd say, see how my eyebrow, where I'm at, and it's kind of right at my eyebrow point, that's when you start bringing the hair up. And that line can go around the head. That's the area where you want to start building volume. Sometimes at this point your arms might be kind of over it, but you'll gain strength, and in the long run it's great for building some muscle. And now I'm starting to bring it down a little bit because I do want the ends around my face. I'm very happy about that result. Okay, we're getting towards the back. This, again, you want to kind of use your hands to feel what you're doing. Same thing, I'm really lifting it up. And now this is an area, I'll be showing you the technique, but you can actually put either Velcro rollers or use the brush to set volume on the back of the head. I'm sectioning it off with my fingers. I, at this point, don't really need the clips. If your hair is very curly, keep the clips in because you don't want wet hair and dry hair. So up we go, and I'm going to be over directing it as well. Again, it's slightly challenging, but you can do this. So I'm pulling the hair forward. It is locked in that brush. Bringing it forward. I'm spiraling the brush as I go. I'm hitting it in the back with the air going in an upward motion. The further forward it comes, the more lift you're going to get in the back. Now I rolled it down and I locked it in at the root. And because this brush is so lightweight, it kind of sits there, but it has to be evenly locked in. Again, this is an area, there goes brush number 2. This is an area that you can use your Velcro rollers for. This is the same size brush, different color, lightweight. Again, look at this Brushopolis. Bringing it forward. Let's see, you know, I'm human and I'm letting hair kind of fall out as it may. You don't have to be fully militant about it, but you might want to still go back and make sure those guys get in. And I'm lucky for this video that back one's holding up. Sometimes they fall, and that's okay. Heating it up, and now I'm letting it cool. So when it cools down, it gives it a chance to set. Dropping the back, you can see all the volume. It's a balancing game. I realize it's not going to sit on my head, so we're going to move forward. I already can see that volume. I'm obsessed. Back to the green guy, and I've got that small front section, but the most important one that's going to go around my face. So I kind of take it in a triangle from the middle of my head, an eyebrow to eyebrow, and you'll see that's where your hairline goes. So I'm gathering the hair, getting that tension. It's going to go not fully up and not fully down. It's kind of like out because I want a little lift, but I don't want it to be too crazy. If it's too high on my forehead, I think it would give it a, you know, appearance of being larger than it is. It's not as flattering. So I'm blowing it forward. I'm getting those ends real nice, and they're going to have a nice bend. Letting it cool. And now here's the fun part. I'll show you. Looks kind of crazy. It needs a second to settle, and you can play with it. Look at all that volume and bounce. And keep in mind, guys, I'm showing this to you on hair that's a little bit damaged and broken. So in fuller hair, it would look even better. So check out this volume. I love it. Absolutely worth playing with. And this is what I do with my clients. We just play, and it's the best. You can't go wrong. Hair, you can always change it and move it. And there comes the handiness of that comb. You can buy wide tooth combs anywhere.